Hello everybody. Welcome to English 250 for the spring of 2021 semester. My name is Dr. Pavletic and this video is going to give you some information to get started with the semester. The first thing that I want to point out in terms of how our Canvas class works, and I'm currently in the student view, so this should be exactly what you see when you log into Canvas. One thing you can do if you want to make your view a little bit easier if you're not really familiar is you can actually click on this collapse all, and so it will make your field a lot smaller and you can then open up the different areas that you're interested in. Or when you're in the collapse all, you can also expand all and it'll just bring it all back open for you. Now here is where this video will be found underneath Introduction to Course. And one of the first things that I need you to do is to take this Student Access to Technology survey. And in terms of when this survey needs to be completed, my goal is to have it completed by the Friday before the semester starts. That way, if there are any problems, we can go ahead and address those sooner rather than later. So it's not a very long quiz. It just kind of has you walk through what your internet situation is, your computer situation. So that way I have an idea of what you are working with at home, seeing as how this is what's called a synchronous online course. So we have weekly Zoom class meetings. So aside from that survey, other things that are available that you can look at before the semester starts, the syllabus is available. And one of the things that you'll notice is that when you click on most of the links, they are going to direct you to Google Documents. And we're going to touch on Google in a moment in terms of its connection to Canvas, but they will open in Canvas itself. There are some tutorial links to YouTube videos, which will open up in a separate window or tab depending on your individual computer settings. But the syllabus is here, as well as the course calendar. These are going to be two of the most important documents that you're going to want to reference regularly throughout the course of the semester. One of the things that I would like to point out now at the very beginning is the entire semester is visible. If you scroll through the calendar, you can literally see everything that you're going to do throughout the course of the semester so that you can plan accordingly to make sure that you're balancing this class with your other courses, with work, other things that are going on in your day-to-day lives. So it's all here. You don't have to wait for me to open things module by module. You'll be able to see the entire semester. Um, Good or bad, it also means that, with respect to, late work or I didn't know something was due, clearly that's not going to fly because you know exactly when things are due. And if anything ever changes, announcements are posted. And to my recollection, I've never made something due earlier. It's always extensions, and those things are posted to the announcement. So you'll be able to see, or know those things in writing, and they're also discussed in class. So make sure that you are paying attention to the calendar. If updates are made, they will be reflected in this calendar. So if you print this out, print this to a PDF, you want to make sure that, you are regularly checking things to make sure that you don't have an old version. And if changes are made, as I said, they will be posted in the announcements. So you will have a heads up with respect to any potential changes. Now, another thing that needs to be taken, and this is not, and the deadline for this is not until the first Friday after the semester has started, is the syllabus quiz. And again, this will open up right in Canvas for you to take, and it's basically open book. Here is a very important document, deals with synchronous class course policies and etiquette. You are going to want to make sure that you go through this because, when you're in an online course using Zoom and webcams, it's a little bit different in terms of behavior than necessarily when you're in an actual face-to-face course or in an asynchronous course, which is where you don't have any regular course meetings. So make sure that you go through this, look at the checklist, look at all the different elements that are on here. They are meant to help you with, navigating the course and being successful. Now, another thing that I want to touch on is how the weekly semester breakdown is set up here in Canvas. So when we go to week 1, when you open this up, it's going to let you know what the outcomes for the course are. So what are the things that we're going to talk about? What are we going to discuss? What are we going to focus on in class? What are the out of class assignments? It tells you what are due this week, but notice the deadlines aren't here. The reason for this is those deadlines are on the calendar. And if something does have to get changed, it can get changed on the calendar, and it doesn't have to be changed in 50 million places, which makes it more difficult for all of us to keep track of things. And then it also gives you a heads up in terms of what's going to be due for next week. And then, we have an ongoing assignment, which is the McGraw-Hill Personal Learning Plan. And you'll notice that a link to the course calendar can be found here. Links to the different elements that you have to work on are right within this area. So when you click on them, they will take you to those different elements. And you can also click on like the next, if you're like, well, let's take a look at week 2. Well, now we can see the outcomes. We can see the in-class focus. There is no class because it's a holiday. And it goes through in that respect. So you can keep clicking on them and it will walk through and break, different outcomes, and it goes through what all of the assignments are. So this, between the syllabus, the calendar, and the way that these weeks are broken down, hopefully this is going to help you keep track of what's going on, be able to find the necessary information. Now, when it comes to assignments, there's another area that you can click on here, which has it all kind of, in one big lumped area. So this really, if you go in through here, you really have to make sure that you're taking a look at the calendar. And another element, you'll notice that only these assignments here have due dates, and that's because in the McGraw-Hill assignment creation area, I have to put in a deadline. It's part of the way McGraw-Hill works. But with Canvas, a deadline is not required. And so there are no deadlines for these different areas. And the reason that I don't put deadlines in is that I've had students experience issues where a deadline, because of a computer glitch or a system issue, all of a sudden changed. And they weren't sure when things were due. It caused confusion. So I don't generally put deadlines into Canvas because of that problem, to try to avoid those types of confusions for you guys in the future. So the reason I'm pointing this out is here, it looks like all you have to do for the entire semester are these few little assignments underneath like the calendar option. So you'll want to make sure that this is not what you're, relying on with respect to what is due. You are using the actual course calendar when you were looking at what you need to do, or you were looking at the semester breakdown by week with what is needed to be completed each week. This section right here, if you ever want to book a conference with me during my open office hours, you can click on this link. It will open up a separate application all within Canvas that you can use to, book an appointment. Always keep in mind that if you need to meet with me and I do not have convenient office hours for you, I am happy to work with your schedule. All you need to do is email me, send me some dates and times that would work for you so that we can find a time to meet. And, if necessary, I am also willing to meet in the evenings or on the weekends to make sure that you're getting whatever help is needed as you're working to complete the assignments throughout the course of the semester. So a few other things that I want to point out. I have a fairly extensive tutorials list. Some of these tutorials are being pulled from different courses because it's, anything I can think of that might be helpful to you. So just because you see a tutorial for it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to directly connect to what's going on. But if you ever are asked to do something in this class and you're like, I have no idea how to make this happen, like right here, I don't know how to print a Microsoft Word document to a PDF. She wants me to submit documents as a PDF. How do I do this? Check the tutorials to see if there's one there. If there isn't, then try your Google skills. go into, Google's browser, type in tutorial, and then whatever it is you're looking for. And generally you can find a YouTube video tutorial that will walk you through just about everything. So a couple of things that I want to draw your attention to after an overview of the tutorial section is you are going to need to pair your Canvas class with Google Drive if you have not already done so. And you might have done so for other courses and then you're set. But if you haven't, then when you click on this right here, it's going to take you to a tutorial that's going to explain, how to do that. And you need to do that so that way you can access different things in Canvas that are going through Google Drive. Now, I do want to note that if you are having problems, like if you're going to access something, it's a Google document that is going through Canvas, and you are not logged in with the account that you paired with Canvas, you're going to get an error message. So this is user error because you are not logged into the correct account. So make sure that you are always logged in with the account that you paired up. And if you hit an error message, go and double check, because sometimes I have 3 different Gmail addresses. So I need to make sure that I'm logged into the correct one when I'm using Canvas. Some people share computers with family members, and so the previous family member might be still logged in. So you need to check these things, when you are using Canvas and you have to access something through Google. The other tutorial that's going to be really important is the Canvas and McGraw-Hill. This is going to walk you through how to connect Canvas with McGraw-Hill. That is a program. That's where our textbook is, because our textbook is fully online. We're also going to be using different programs through them. So you need to get that set up as soon as possible, because we have activities starting with McGraw-Hill pretty soon after the start of the semester. Now, McGraw-Hill does have a courtesy access period of, I believe it's a week, about 7 days. So if you are not able to, for whatever reason, get access to McGraw-Hill Connect immediately upon the start of the semester, it's not a big deal. As soon as you set up that account, you have a 7-day courtesy access. But after those 7 days, you have to make sure that you have the full version, and it will roll over anything that you have done from that courtesy access to the full version of things. In terms of, using things like the Power Process, which is a type of assignment that we're going to be working on, like I said, we've got tutorials for most things. There is also one that will walk you through how to use Zoom if, you're not completely familiar with it. Maybe your teacher last semester used Skype or used some other, feature. So feel free to take a look at that. The last thing that I want to point out, and I've been mentioning Zoom throughout this recording, is that all of our classes, when you click on the Zoom link, you'll see that I am teaching, 3 sections. I've got one at 9:30, one at 12, and one at 2 o'clock. So you'll want to make sure that you check your schedule and that you join the correct section based upon, I've got the section. So we've got B21, B20. I have to fix this because I believe this one right here should say B26. It's good to notice these things while I'm doing a recording. The last thing is that we do have mandatory conferences throughout the course of the semester. This right here is the conference Zoom room, and this will be used for all of the sections right here. So when it comes time for conferences, you don't use our class meeting rooms. This is the one that you're going to use with respect to conferences. Now, if you do have any questions, if there's anything I can help with before the semester starts, please don't hesitate to, email me. My information, if you go back into the syllabus, is at the top right here. Obviously my office is going to be through Zoom. My office hours are listed. You can either click here to book a conference, or you can go back to that home screen, my email address, and this number right here. If you do have an emergency, if there's something where you need a really quick answer that's brief, because I'm not writing the Great American Novel, via text message, you can use this phone number to text me. Keep in mind though that I do sleep, and if you do have a complicated question, email is better than trying to do it through text. and even better yet is having a meeting. There are links here to like additional documents in terms of, the College of Arts and Sciences has its own syllabus attachment. There's a university-wide syllabus attachment, and there's also the Title IX syllabus statement. And I do recommend that you read through and look at all of these because they are very important and will provide you with a lot of really important information. So before I completely, kind of sign off on this video and let you get on with the rest of your day, I want to mention briefly, and we'll talk about this more on the first day of class, but we do have a theme for this course, and it is food. We are going to be talking about people's relationship, countries' relationships with food. And that's what's going to be kind of weaving through the vast majority of the assignments that you're going to be working on, and it will be the central focus of your major paper once you get to that point. So as I said before, my name is Dr. Pavletic, and if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to send me an email. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you on Monday, and I hope that the rest of your break is a good one.